Hey guys, Seth Fuller, your favorite lawyer here. Today is of course the third day of February. That means this is my third vlog of the month, where I try to touch on legal topics that I think maybe will be interesting to you. Today I want to talk about pardons and sex trafficking. I know, that sounds exciting. Calm down, calm down. All right, so today, one case that everybody knows is that of Centoya Brown. She was a young lady who at 16 was convicted of capital murder. Now, she had been taken in as a teenage runaway by a pimp and been prostituted out. Now again, with these teenagers, it's hard to say whether it's not like you would normally think of like sex slavery. Like, she's going out and doing it willingly. She's just manipulated and groomed by an adult to make think that that's her only choice, or just a good way to make money, or that that's okay. But all these young ladies are influenced by an adult who shows them the ropes and how to do this. So this was the case for her. She went out to prostitute herself. After she did that, she shot the John in the back of the head. You can call him abuser, John, whatever. But she shot the guy in the back of the head, took his stuff, and left. She was convicted of capital murder by a jury. And as an adult, she was sentenced to life in prison. And the earliest she could get out is 67 years old. So she went in at 16 and couldn't get out till she was 67, according to the law there. Well, around 2017, the governor of her state pardoned her, or excuse me, commuted her sentence. She was released in 2017. She was 33 years old. That means she has spent almost exactly half or more than half of her life in prison from when she was 16 years old. This made national news. The only reason she got out was because her story made the internet. Now she's written a book and she's helping other people. One story you probably didn't hear was from right here in Denton. There's a lady named Rebecca Charleston, and she had been prostituted since she was a little kid, trafficked since she was a little kid, groomed to become a prostitute. She continued to become a prostitute, became a high-dollar prostitute under the guise of this pimp that she met in a stripping parking lot. She ended up getting busted here in Denton, Texas, in a high-profile bust by the feds. They couldn't get her for prostitution, where they got her for tax evasion, for not reporting the income for her prostitution. She was an adult by this point, but the reason this might be interesting is because she was recently pardoned. She was one of the many people pardoned by President Trump at the end of his presidency. And so that kind of made the news. Right now, she's helping victims of trafficking, as Centoya is, as a lot of these former victims do. Which brings me to my question for you, and I don't know the answer to this. If someone commits a crime, let's say a 16 or a 15-year-old commits a crime. Now, here in Texas, I'll start with this. Here in Texas, you can't commit prostitution if you're 13 or under, but 14 and 15 and 16 and 17, and of course adulthood, you can. However, so let's say somebody commits a murder or even just an aggravated robbery with a weapon, and that person does it while being pimped or supervised or cajoled or groomed or whatever you want to call it by an adult, by someone over 18, maybe in their 20s, who is familiar with the life of crime. But this person has taken them in, they've had sex with them, so they are sexually abusing this teenager. The evidence is overwhelming, shows that this teenager is both being sexually abused by these adults. In fact, these adults are being prosecuted for it. And they're being trained on how to become a criminal or a sex worker or whatever. And someone ends up getting murdered, or they end up robbing someone. Let's say robbery, it doesn't matter. Pick your crime. My question to you is, should there be some sort of defense for that? Is that a necessity defense? Should they be allowed to be put into the adult system and face capital murder charges? Do you think there should be defense? Do you think they should be prosecutable as an adult under a severe felony or a capital crime for something they did while evidence shows they were under the influence of an actual adult and had been sexually abused, or were at the time being sexually abused, trained, and basically influenced by this adult? Do you think they should have to stay in the juvenile court? Maybe they still have to face their crimes, but as a juvenile, so the most they can get is maybe TJJD until they're 19, like kid prison until they're 19, or maybe there's a determinate sentencing thing where they can do half of theirs kid and half an adult, but it's still juvenile crime? Or do you think transferring to an adult court, treating like them adult, is fair? I want to know. So I'm going to post this on Facebook and YouTube. Comment down here what you think, and we can discuss it. I'm pretty good at answering back. I hope y'all have a good one, and I'll see you tomorrow.